Hey, welcome back to Of the Devil. Cheesy here. We just finished the first part of the trial, so I guess we're now in recess. And we'll figure things out. We didn't really get that much information in that trial. We just sort of established a few things and hopefully got the prosecution on edge, I guess. We'll see how it goes from there on. Alright. So, Aurea Holdings is not part of House Ikaria? No, it is. House Ikaria is comprised of the literal Ikaria family, the Ikaria Financial Group, and the Aurea Holdings. But each of those parts is a separate identity from the others. That is very confusing. No, well, yes, it can be confusing, but it protects us. Protects the IFG? No, protects the house from itself. If everyone in the Ikaria family was a member of the IFG, and the IFG was called the Ikaria family, that'd be much simpler. I know it would be simpler, but that's... Who the hell is this guy to keep Rockford waiting? Are you addressing your question to me? I've never met the man. Well, he's met you, smacked you upside the head, and cuffed you. If you say so. I told you I don't remember anything after I walked out of that holding room. Chime in at any time. Apologies, Adonai. I was just trying to answer your question. Who the hell is Officer Rogers? You find his socials or something? I found a news story attached to a live feed. He's shaking hands with some men at the top of some stairs. Right now? What's the headline? City council members thank heroic officer for his service. Oh, well that makes sense. How can it? Emma's outranked. If the politicians decide now is the time to do photo ops, she doesn't have the pull to go against them. Are Officer Chopin's parents there? Yes, both his fathers were present. Adoptive fathers. Are you trying to make me feel better? Adoptive or not, they are his parents and their pain is real. Of course. But that pain would be equally real if they weren't expressing it from those cameras, don't you think? If you're feeling guilty, Sosuke, please get it out of your system before the trial resumes. I don't feel guilty. Even if I did kill that officer, I wouldn't lose sleep over it. But that doesn't make it right. Taking a life. Parents having to outlive their children. And here I thought you'd be all about filial piety. Filial piety. You telling me you wouldn't take a bullet for your patriarch Daisuke? Of course I would. And force him to outlive his son? How could you? Adopted son from a branch family. Do I need to point out how badly you're contradicting yourself? Daisuke Ikaria could have let me waste away when the rest of the Hayawakawa branch was killed. Instead, he placed me at the right hand of power, a seat of honor. A subservient seat. All seats are subservient. Not the one at the top. I didn't know the rest of your birth family died, Sosuke. Retaliation for the fall of the leaves. Quite the dignified way to refer to the Ikaria killing all those blue bloods 30 years ago. Oh, is Sosuke a blue blood? Anyway, it was my understanding that that was a complete and total victory. The kind that left blue bloods incapable of counterattacking. Very nearly so. Do you disapprove of what happened 30 years ago, Sosuke? Of course not. The barbarity of the house's enemies left it with no other choice but to act. No way out, huh? By the way, I was asked to pass along a message to you. If you're given a way out, take it. Who told you that? It was Mireille. She said her name was Mireille. Yeah, I got chips for that. Ooh, 3 chips. Who is she? A powerful member of the house, on the side of Aurea. Slow down, loose lips. I didn't ask for her whole life story. What? Oh, sarcasm. Sorry. I'm just surprised. Surprised that she would take a personal interest in the outcome of this affair. So, did that message mean anything to you? I'm not sure. You're a terrifically helpful client, you know that? There's something you should know about me, Morgan. About the Hound of Icaria. I didn't earn that title as a bodyguard or as a head of security. And I didn't learn how to kill in the military. The Hound of Icaria is the house's personal assassin. Yay. What happened to the House of Icaria being refined? Elevated above their criminal past? The house is elevated. That status has granted it more enemies than ever. Enemies that need to be taken out silently, but undeniably. Undeniably? What I do is send messages. They need to be received by the right people, and they need to know who it's from. You kill so that the other houses in the nobility know it was the Hound, but can't prove that the House Icaria was responsible. Their own pride over being able to handle things internally and their humiliation at being outplayed ensures the deaths stay out of the papers. So the entire police force can descend on a jaywalker caught by a reflection off the dash cam. But the nobility gets to wave off the surveillance state with a perfumed handkerchief, flaunting how the rules don't apply to them. Like I thought, a very pure expression of power. So, all that talk of you being Makoto's head of security, that was all true. I have been Makoto's head of security for the past year. Did your courier business dry up? Circumstances around Makoto had changed. I was asked to step in and fill a role. And what did you say about guarding the previous heir, waving your katana around as soon as you could walk? The circumstances were different then, too. Why tell me now? Because now that I've seen her, I don't think Rockford will have missed it. No, why didn't you tell me yesterday, the first time we met, when I could have actually prepared for this? Clearly you've got some deeply held desire to rot in prison, since you won't help me win this case. But what happened in the last 5 minutes that you've suddenly got cold feet? Adonai. Yesterday, I thought you were just some outsider in over their head, who would surely drown if they knew who they were defending. Today, I think you're an outsider in over their head, who could stay afloat with a lifeline. Thanks for the heads up. 5 minutes notice really comes in handy when your client asks you to catch a bullet. Excuse me. Oh, whoops. I'm sorry to disappoint you too, Sarah. I can't imagine you're pleased to be defending a self-confessed killer. I don't know what you went through when you were a soldier, and I have no idea what you've gone through as an assassin. Yesterday, Adonai suggested I shouldn't speak about those kinds of things since I have no experience with them. I don't know if she's right about that, but soldiers and assassins do exist in this world, and they are still people. And I think it would be sad if I couldn't talk to any of them. On a related note, could you catch a bullet, Sosuke Ikaria? No, Sarah. But you're a cybernetically enhanced martial artist. Bullets are very fast. That is true. I could probably catch an arrow if I knew it was coming. Tell me more. Sarah's great. Good for her. She could write that down in her personal wiki about assassins. "12:27 p.m. Ooh. Time is not flying. So you and your partner were the second officers to arrive on the scene? Oh, it's London. That's correct, ma'am. When the 10999 went out, my partner and I were relatively center city. We were within jogging distance of the site, after an elevator ride, so we proceeded on foot. Roger still hasn't shown. Emma must have rushed London to adjust the reshuffled docket. I assume he was rushed. He does seem somewhat distracted. We arrived on the premises at 10:21 p.m. At 10:27 p.m., we assisted Officer Rogers in completing his arrest of the suspect. What did that involve? Reading rights to an unconscious man? That's a good bit. We helped Rogers finish cuffing the suspect, is what I meant. His hands were shaking. Your witness, counselor? Oh my god, I'm just immediately jumping into it. Okay. Sorry, I'm just making sure there's no traffic that's making too much noise. Okay. I'd like to ask London why he wasn't explicit about all this yesterday, but complaining about a detective not being forthcoming with the defense isn't exactly a winning strategy. He didn't hesitate to show me his involvement with the mafias yesterday. What's he got left to hide? Ooh, the body cams. Rogers was off, but maybe his were on. Dumb question, detective. But did you have your body cameras on? Officers aren't required to turn on body cameras when responding to an emergency, counselor. A detective and detectives aren't required to wear body cameras at all. Like I said, dumb question. What about your partner? Well, you know what? What about your partner? But by any chance, did your partner have a body camera going? Perhaps that's out of a characteristic abundance of respect for the rules. Matter of fact, I believe she did. So the first 4 of our city's brave policemen to arrive at the scene of a crime, only one of them thought to turn their body cam on. It's my understanding that Rogers couldn't turn his on, as it had broken earlier in the week. And Tarek Chopin? I don't know why he didn't have his on. Does Emma know? Does Officer Rogers? That is interesting. I don't think why matters. No, we already... How'd I clear the building? Okay. And how did you and your partner go about clearing the building? I took point, and my partner covered me, checking the rooms behind us as we went. It was tense, searching the rooms with that racket blaring from upstairs. We were still searching for suspects even though there was a 10999 on the 3rd floor. Rogers had already reported the manner of his partner's death, counselor, and we weren't going to run upstairs to try and defibrillate. How was that report made? Over comms, around 1017. Is it common practice to separate from one another when responding to a 10999? It's one of the several valid approaches the department advises in critical scenarios. Okay. Oh, you know, good question. Did you ever lose sight of your partner? I might have. So she might have lost sight of you. Speculation, Your Honor? If I can't see you, you can't see me. That's not speculation, Your Honor. Just grade school logic. Overruled. Spill the deets, witness. Yes, me and my partner were separated as we cleared the building. For more than a minute, I'd say. Hey, is that blackjack? Interesting. Thank you for giving us all of that to chew on, Detective London. Come on, give me a break. I was trying to be helpful. No, I mean it. That's blackjack. All right. I'm especially interested to hear you describe how my client was unconscious and helpless by the time he first appeared on any body cam. Shall we review that footage together? I wonder if we can pinpoint exactly how many wounds he received in between his arrest and when his mugshot was taken. Redirect, Your Honor. Really? What is she doing now? The prosecution called Detective London as their witness and asked their questions. Adonai just had a chance to ask her own questions during the cross-examination. After the cross-examination, the people can redirect if they have additional questions for the witness. So, it isn't just one for them and one for us. More like an eye for an eye for an eye until justice is blind and bloody. She wants another round. Why? Just stalling? Detective London, are you aware of an ongoing police investigation for a figure known as the Hound of Icaria? Not stalling. Approach, Your Honor. Wait, do I finally get to stay the line? Hold on. This is happening too fast. Okay. Oh, so you're prone to they're already here. This Hound of Icaria is obviously some kind of case file that the Organized Crimes Department is working on. Detective London isn't qualified to speak on it. Homicide, organized crimes, is there that big a difference? Depends on the career of the witness in question. Detective London, for example, spent 6 years in organized crimes unit. He what? You didn't know that. Where are you taking this, Emma? Ugh, I hate to admit it, but I think I need spoilers as well. If you ask him about this, what's he gonna say? Alright. That the Hound of Icaria is an assassin who leaves calling cards at each of his kills, terrorizing the house's perceived enemies without shame. And that lead suspect in those cases is a man around Sosuke's age and height, with gray-blue hair, a modded spine, and a large tattoo of a dog across his back. Sosuke, you vain son of a bitch, you got made with your shirt off? Sosuke, he sneezes. Bless you. You cannot let the jury hear that, Your Honor. But I really want to. If Organized Crimes wants to arrest Sosuke, they should have done so already. He's on trial here today for these 5 counts and nothing else. The defense has once again claimed that their client is merely some veteran who's been victimized by greater forces. But the police believe that he's in fact the deadliest soldier the Icaria have at their disposal. That's not irrelevant. No, it's just prejudicial as hell. Ugh, girls fighting. But obeying the legal precedent. But the tension, the human drama. He'll just be giving a summary. The case file won't enter the record. So you won't even give me the chance to object to the evidence. Your Honor, if you do this, the jury will be spoiled within seconds, and I'll have my client served up a mistrial before the day's through. And some other lucky adjutant will get to have all the rest of the fun. I've severed the jury's feed for the time being. I'd like to hear exactly what the witness has to say before ruling this testimony's conclusion. But, Your Honor, the gallery is not your concern, nor a concern of justice. This trial will remain open to the public until such a time as I or the state feel it shouldn't be. Decision made. Thank you, Your Honor. All right. What just happened? The jury is going to take a bathroom break. Emma will get to ask her questions, but in all likelihood, the adjutant will make sure they never hear the answers. So we aren't any worse off. Sosuke might be. What do you mean? This gallery's filled to the brim with cops. They all think he killed Chopin. If London regales us with all the tales of the Hound's exploits on top of that. Don't worry, Sosuke. Oh, don't worry, Sosuke. They can't do anything to you here. Because we're in a courtroom. I won't spend the rest of my life in this room, Sarah. And even if I could, I wouldn't. Detective London, if you would, please testify as to the... Oh, for real? Your Honor. What now? Hey, Rockford, the witness guy who flaked on you. Made you look dumb? Yes. He's finally here. Thank you, Your Honor. I have no more questions for the witness at the time. Really? But the redirect fizzles out. Counselor, you want to snap it up? No, Your Honor. Dang, Detective London. Nobody wants to talk to your ass. Miss Rockford let it go. She doesn't hold anything back in the whole courtroom, but only because that's what gives her the greatest chance of victory. If the jury wouldn't hear it either way, and she has no need to stall for time, she won't stoke the coals for the fun of it. So if you hadn't fought against that redirect up until the very last moment... Bullet caught, Huh? Yeah. Nothing impressive about putting my arm between the gun and my heart. I was gonna say stomach. The analogy seems weaker somehow. Sarah's right. Sarah's so very human compared to Morgan. It's kind of fun. There he is. The man of the hour. The hero put a stop to the Hound of Icaria and brought justice to the city over the loss of its favored son, Tariq Chopin. Oh, jeez, he sucks. Patrol Officer Rogers, reporting for duty. You don't have to say that. Sorry, then, just reporting for duty. Name and occupation? Patrol Officer Huey Rogers. Occupation? Patrol Officer. Oh my god. Former partner of Tariq Chopin. Apologies for earlier. It's fine. The court understands that the city council had a need of you. And when I said my name wrong, won't happen again. And your tardiness? What's that? Being hours late to this trial? Did I not set a reminder? Does seeing him here in the flesh jog your memory at all? No, not at all. I think this guy would be pretty hard to forget. You must have sustained quite the concussion then. As an appetizer. From what I saw, he's lucky nothing more important leaked out of his ears. Shall we begin, Officer Rogers? Right, from where? The start. Oh, well, it was pretty boring. I mean, normal night. Me and Chopin were just driving on our route, windows down. He was always getting car sick if the windows weren't down. Then around 9:45 or so, my partner heard shots fired. So off we went. What does that mean? Well, I mean, shots echo down the lower ward, so I wasn't too sure about the direction. But my partner was confident that it had been something to do with the Blue Bloods. That area is a known hotspot. As we neared the street, we saw people slinking away from it. We got the message. People can sense that kind of trouble, even when they don't know it. Something bad had gone down, and no one wanted anything to do with it. Front door wouldn't budge. I peeked around into the alley, but the fire escape was out of commission. Then my partner shot clean through the door handle. Chopin was that determined to get inside based on some echo gunshots and a few context clues? Yeah, it seems a bit suspicious and directed. Oh my god. Do you think Chopin was supposed to get that mask? Damn. That'd be quite the scandal. Suppose context clues are most of what I use to find the place too, but... So when you arrived, the only way into the building was locked? Yeah, and so we had a strong reason to believe the shooter was still in the vicinity. I was in favor of waiting for backup at this point, but my partner, he was convinced the place was dead empty already. So he was moving a good bit faster than me right up until we got to the second floor, and we heard a loud slam. A slam? What kind of slam? Like slam? Or like salam? Or like slam? I don't know. It was loud though. And Chopin gets all deadly serious and insists I stay, and he goes ahead, up to the third floor. After a bit, he yelled down to me saying everyone was dead, and I should come join him. That's when I heard another heavy thud. I didn't know if it was the sound of my partner's body hitting the floor, but I put two and two together when I saw that man there standing over him. Let the record show that the witness has finally identified the defendant. If you heard a noise at a crime scene, the natural conclusion would be that you were not alone. But if Chopin thought they weren't alone, why would he insist on splitting up? That's an excellent question. Oh, you know what? It's to prevent people from getting away. That's it. Chopin must have wanted to split up so they could cut off possible routes of escape. Perhaps I can shed some light on the late officer's actions, can I? With more speculation, with some helpful theorizing, capped off with hard evidence. Officer Chopin explicitly told his partner to stay behind, and the only reason he'd do that is if he thought he'd let them catch an escaping suspect. Why would he think a suspect was escaping if he heard a noise upstairs? He wouldn't. He'd only think a suspect was escaping if the noise he heard was... Oh. Oh. Oh, the slam. It was the dumpster. No, that one was fine. No. It's under the fire escape, so it's the dumpster? Oh, wait. I'm confident. Honestly, every time I have a chance, I'll just put it at max. I don't care. Oh, oh. Okay, good. That almost looked like I failed. A noise that came from the alley. What kind of noise would that be? A noise like the one I was treated to when Detective London clumsily shut the dumpster out there. Hey now, left my ears ringing too, you know. What are you even talking about? I'm talking about an exit plan. In other words, how the real culprit managed to flee the scene. How does a dumpster lid relate to some imaginary suspect's great escape? 1963, 172 minutes. The only way to get from the third floor to the street without going past the two cops clearing the building would be by going down the fire escape and into the alley. A fire escape that's broken, so no one could climb up it, but anyone can jump from it onto the dumpster below. Oh, yeah. I could kind of see it. Oh. That must be a dead pixel you're seeing, Your Honor. Were there boot prints on top of the dumpster? A dent on the lid? Well, that's... No. Of course not. So there's no proof, no reason at all to think that anyone jumped down onto it. And no reason for us to entertain this train of thought. Wrong. The window was broken. I know this. I'm a smart boy. Damn it. That's... I've got nothing. I mean, it was a broken window. It wasn't broken before when you were there. Even if there had been damage to the dumpster, I couldn't never prove it was caused by a fleeing suspect. Adonai. I'm thinking. I know. But might this not possibly be the first time for you to stop thinking, and instead flip the go board like you've told me to do before? You're horribly misquoting me. But it says there's no proof that anyone fled the crime scene. But if there was proof of that, what would it look like? Proof that someone was in that room when the police first arrived, but not there when the police got to the third floor. They would have had to take the fire escape if Rogers never saw them. They couldn't have taken the fire escape without first opening the window. That is right. Oh, the window. It's been bothering me since yesterday. I was sure those windows were closed when I left, but they've been open ever since the scene was secure. Oh, I guess they weren't broken. They were just wide open. And I can't testify to that. The one time I know the truth and I want to get it out, and I can't admit it without screwing myself over. Adonai, any luck? Pardon the interruption, Your Honor. I have no objections at this time. Then the witness may continue. Please do. But rewind a bit first if you could, since we got off topic. And don't spare any detail. Tell the court exactly what you saw, felt, and heard that night. Of course, the witness is a trained officer of our city's prestigious police force. He looks panicked. He'll gladly recount every minute for us. Why are you using vocabulary like this in, like, the late 2000s? Near the end of the century. Line by line. Like, every detail? Oh my god. Especially the irrelevant ones. Sir, yes, sir. I did get a little in my head just now. Better listen through this whole testimony at least once before I start looking for holes. Oh, starting already. It was a quiet night. Headed for the nearest known Orca hotspot and arrived building dead quiet. Door was locked. I checked the alley, but didn't see another way in. Okay. So Chopin was off the clock through the handle, and we entered. Followed by some kind of loud music up the stairs, and there was a slam, and my partner bolted upstairs. About a minute later, I heard a thud from upstairs and came running. To find a defendant standing over my partner's dead body. Okay. Well, that didn't really super help us. something stand out to you, Adonai? Yeah, my ears pricked up a bit. The saying is perked up, is it not? What? Let me focus. Oh, nice. Sound system. Sound system. Yeah, I'll write that down. Fire escape. And front door. Huh. Quiet night. Heard gunshots. Wait, the sound system was on, right? Whoa. No, it's not dead quiet. Heard throughout the building, yes. Wanna bet? Yeah, I hit you in the face, Emma. How could you have arrived to find the place dead quiet when there was a sound system blaring on the top floor? The witness must have not heard the sound system. This is a noisy city, even the lower wards. But he did hear the music. He described it in his testimony just now. Followed some kind of loud music up the stairs. So the building was dead quiet when you were outside, but you could hear the music from the first floor. Well, yeah, heard the music pretty much as soon as we stepped inside. Only after you stepped inside? Yeah, sturdy door, I guess. Your Honor, the witness has established that the front door was very secure and tightly locked. There is nothing strange about it blocking out some amount of sound. But it blocked out, like, all the sound. Once the door was open, the music was booming. The scene of the crime was a known Blue Blood property, yes? A safe house apartment complex of sorts, as I understand it. They must have made a number of modifications to the premises. That front door certainly looked like a newish addition. Check. Maybe they redid the windows too. I don't get it. I don't mind stating it plainly, Your Honor. That building has been thoroughly debugged, insulated. Oh no, soundproofed. I mean, repainted. They repainted it and the sound didn't get through. That building has been thoroughly soundproofed, Your Honor. You think the building was soundproofed? I know it was. I experienced it myself, stepping out of the lower wards and into this dingy nightclub vibe. That would explain what the witness experienced, wouldn't it? Perhaps, but that wouldn't explain the building being dead quiet when they arrived. Not unless the window next to the sound system was closed. Showed my hand a bit there. She knows what I'm gunning for. Counselor, asking the court to accept that the building happened to be soundproofed is not the flawless argument you're making it out to be. The window in question opens to the alley. Rogers could have easily missed the noise coming out of it, even though he already testified that he checked the alley before his partner shot the door open. He might have merely neglected to mention that he heard music at the time. Huh? Music in the alley? I would have noticed that kind of thing, right? Ugh. Fast on the uptake, this one. I'm looking at the arcs from every angle I can, rotating cubes in my mind as fast as my programming will allow. You know what, Rogers? He kind of sucks as a police officer, but doesn't seem like a bad dude. I'm still seeing a crime scene where the windows are open. What am I doing wrong? There's a trick to it. Try focusing on just a single cube first. Once you've got one spinning consistently... Yes, Your Honor, the windows were found open. It's a contradiction. The windows were closed when the officers arrived, but open by the time Rogers got to the third floor. That means that someone must have opened them. Someone not currently on trial, Your Honor. You should stretch before attempting mental gymnastics that intense, Counselor. You claim that the windows were originally closed, and only opened at the last moment as the mystery individual fled down into the alley. If we know Creek was standing in front of those windows when he was shot, then we can see where his blood landed on the sides of the windows that face into the room where he opened. If, as you claim, the windows were closed when he was shot, then his blood somehow ended up in the wrong side of the glass. Your theory is flawed. A far-flung fantasy with nothing more than the Officer Rogers' poor hearing to support it. Wow. All the actual evidence shows that at the time of the murder, the windows were exactly as we found them, flung open. Her logic isn't faulty, and I can't overturn it with any given piece of evidence, but I can point out the flaw in how she's presented her evidence. Thank you for the advice about taking full advantage of the arcs, by the way. But trust me, there are some things that are best understood by visiting the crime scene in person. What? Helps keep you from getting flipped around. What, the window panes were flipped around? Blood across the windows, fingers on handles, soundproof? I'm not backing down. Windows open, arc scene, no. Shot in the chest in front of the windows. Found in the alleyway, no. That's the window splatter? Because it got flipped? Yeah. Apologies, Your Honor. I'm just confused. Why is Miss Rockford talking about those windows? As if they swing open. What are you talking about? Those windows don't swing into the room. They pull to the side. They... What? Didn't you see the fingerprints they found on the handles? One look at that should tell you which side of the glass faces indoors. Funny, wasn't that in the arcs? Oh, this is some very chic interior design I'm seeing. Very wabi-sabi. So if the windows only slide parallel to the walls, it wouldn't matter whether they were open or shut when Creek was shot. The blood would always end up on the same side. Ugh. Hey, I said I finally got the windows lined up right in the arcs. You didn't say that. At least, not aloud. Thank you for always listening, Sarah. But I said it just now, so whatever. What do you mean lined up? The blood splatter. Ooh, looks a lot nicer now, doesn't it? Yes, thank you, Your Honor. That is so inappropriate for an adjutant to do. But it's gotten us all on the same page. We can all reasonably conclude that the windows were closed when Creek was shot at the very least. Yes. Though, when they were next opened is something you'll fight over, I'm sure. Now, if this arc static could just tell me whether the windows are actually soundproof. I doubt the arcs could simulate that accurately for you, Your Honor. But if we re-examine the scene for that specifically, and should be simple enough to... waste the court's time. Forgive me for repeating myself, Your Honor, but even if we prove conclusively that the windows were soundproof, the defense's argument still hinges entirely on the omission of one detail in the witness's testimony. Putting it another way... just because he didn't hear the music, that doesn't mean he couldn't hear the music because the soundproof windows were closed. The devil's proof. Yes, and you actually used it right this time. I did my reading. She's effectively conceded that the windows were soundproofed, but she's also shifted tactics, and it's a formation I don't recognize. That's to be expected. I'm no general. But I don't need Makoto here to tell me that war is deception. So how about a little misdirection? Listen up, Sarah. The important thing about the devil's proof is that it's always on our side. The side of underdogs, lovers, and dreamers the world around. The side of the defense, innocent until proven guilty. That's what makes the devil so infuriating for the prosecution. The people make a fair point, Your Honor. There really isn't any hard evidence for my fleeing suspect theory at the moment. But the people haven't disproven it either, have they? I forget the exact details, Your Honor, but all we need is a shadow of a doubt, right? To overturn 5 dead bodies, the testimonies of 3 cops, and a room soaked to the floorboards in forensic evidence. Yeah. Ooh. Fenouil. I don't know what that means. Have you lost your mind? Are you trying to piss off everyone here? Yes. Come on, you don't hate my theory that much, do you? I'm warming up to it. Then I'll stick to the facts for now. Alright. Loving the music, by the way. At the time Rogers and Chopin arrived, the front door was locked. The music was still playing at the scene of the crime, even if Rogers didn't notice it until stepping inside. And at that moment, well, at the moment Creek was shot at least, we can be certain the soundproof windows behind him were closed. Yes, those are the facts. Why are you restating them? Because there's something that's been bothering me. If we accept that these are the facts, one part of the Honorable Officer Rogers' testimony makes no sense. Wait. Heard gunshots in lower wards. Head towards the sound. How did he hear the gunshots if the windows were closed? Heard the noise. It's not the split up. The thud. No. And Chopin being... No, it's... How did he know? I mean, I was always kind of... Whoa. I'm here going all in every time, baby. How could these two officers have set off in response to the sound of gunshots? From the room that was deafened at the time the gun was fired. Now you go there? Yes. Oh, crap. Yeah. Wait, excuse me? What are you talking about? It's the very first thing you told us, officer. Your partner heard gunshots. But how is that possible? But he said it. He said it. Even on the radio, he called it in. True enough, I can see right there, then and there, that the police network's database, 945, Officer Tarek Chopin reports shots fired. So he did, and since we can't ask him to testify, we'll just have to take him at his word. But just to clarify, Officer Rogers, are you saying you never heard any gunshots yourself? Well, I didn't have my head out of the window like him, so... That's what you're trained to do, isn't it? Report anything you see or hear across the network? Well, one report is usually sufficient. But confirmation is always ideal, right? Yes or no, Officer Rogers? I never heard any gunshots. Hang on, are you really... So you never heard a peep, but your partner... He somehow managed to waltz you both over to exactly where 4 vicious murders had been committed before anyone else got there. I just drove where he pointed, so... Counselor, you need to be very careful here. Yeah? Thank you for your concern, Miss Rockford. But don't forget, I hate losing. Pardon? I said, but don't forget to direct your comments to the bench. You bring that up now? Every cop in the room already thinks I'm a mob lawyer at this point. Compared to that, mocking the memory of the deceased is small time. I feel like you're going to say something shocking here, and I should stop you. But I can't really stop you before you say it, so... I'm just confused is all, Your Honor. How could Officer Chopin have possibly arrived at the scene of the crime when he couldn't have heard any gunshots? Unless he was asked to come there directly. Oh, like he got an Evite? Exactly. Officer Chopin answered a distress call from the Blue Bloods. Oh, that's bad. Oh, shit. Tumulte. Tell me, are these her usual tactics? Turning the entire city against her for no discernible reason? No. Well, the first time we met, she did, technically. Your Honor, the defense is completely out of line. The gallery's pretty poorly behaved too. You gonna rein this in, or should I? Allow me. Tarek Chopin was an upstanding officer with no marks on his record. You say he was some kind of blue-blood pawn, but he had to break into their building in order to enter. And you have the gall to claim he answered a distress call when there was no panic button, no phone records, to suggest that one was ever sent? True. True. That's all you have to say after posthumously accusing the son of 2 city councilmen of being corrupted by blue-blood pocket change? That's a fair point. Chopin was the son of 2 city councilmen, and by all accounts, a dedicated police officer. You wouldn't work with the Blue Bloods without an unusually strong motive. The kind of thing that would make the headlines. What are you? Time to flex your media literacy. What? I know... No. No. Ugh, I wanted to go see the thing. I remember. Remember earlier in the episode, I took note of the political headlines. They want more... Oh, God, what was it? Okay, well, whatever. I gotta choose and present the article that shows motive for Chopin to work with the Blue Bloods. Remember, you can reread any articles you've collected this episode in your phone. But you already read them front to back, right? I did. Oh, God, which one was it? Is it the ballots? Yes, this is the one that I... Yes, this is the thing, right? It was like funding of Atlas Pillar rejuvenation, fund renovations, multiple Atlas, largest public transit elevators, reducing unemployment in the target regions. None have argued against architectural. Property values in the lower wards can either skyrocket or even drop into negative based on which pillars are rejuvenated. Are we trying to make things better? Are we trying? 492. I know it's got to be that one because Chopin and Chopin are both here. I took note of that. I feel smart. Thank you, of the devil, for making me feel like a smarty pants. Wait. I deserve this. Wait, how much is that? Oh, okay, whatever. It's fine. Where's the ballot measures? There we go. Officer Chopin would never compromise his well-documented morals for anything less than earth-shaking opportunity. Yes, counselor, but this family's very well off. What could this earth-shaking opportunity possibly have been? How about a donation to his parents? What? Sidebar for a moment. What? How are you all thinking about voting? Oh, don't get me started. I'm a political junkie. What are you? Sorry, on the ballot measures specifically. Huh? Am I the only one who sweats over this stuff? Maybe it's old-fashioned, but I was hoping to hear some diverse, nuanced opinions on Proposition 492. Wait, but that's the funding of Atlas Pillar rejuvenation projects? I think it's a nice idea. Bringing up prosperity to the lower wards, literal stability to everyone above them, and of course, the mother of all paydays to anyone lucky enough to own the land it'll require. Wait a minute, you mean... you... Am I the only one who reads the news anymore? Wasn't counting on this being rhetorical, but... Who on the city council is sponsoring Proposition 492? Chopin's parents. One last question, less rhetorical this time. This crime took place at a known blue blood property. So why was this found there? Oh wait, why was what found there? Not the... Oh. Creek's data pad. Needles? No. Oh. Why is Yoru here? Oh. It's gotta be this. It's the documents that can't be copied. Very hush-hush. Even for the Blue Bloods. Let's copy it. Highly confidential red ink documents were found underneath Chopin's corpse. They're almost entirely illegible by now, but you can still make out a reference to P492 right here. That struck me as odd. Reinforcing the canopy. A state construction project that massive in the lower wards would mean. Even the police can't keep a crime scene secure down there unless they're willing to play ball with the Blues. It'd have to get past the Blue Bloods. Or through them with open arms and firm handshakes. Just what the hell are you trying to say? Counselor Morgan, if you... Sorry, wasn't sure I actually had to spell it out, but it certainly looks like Patrol Officer Tarek Chopin was working with the Blue Blood Mafia to defraud the city. Uh-oh. Gakido. Vehemence, wrath, outrage. They're panicked. She said it. She said that? What did you just say? Are you trying to piss off every cop and every politician in the city? Sorry, I'll gladly retract my statement. That is, as soon as any cop or politician or prosecutor can explain to the court how Tarek Chopin was able to arrive at the crime scene that night, when we all know damn well he never heard any gunshots. Yeah. It is a bit of a pickle. What have you got for us, witness? What? I don't know. He had good ears or something? Or good intuition, or whatever. Your Honor, the simplest explanation is that Officer Chopin was tipped off by a CI that he neglected to inform his partner about. Hey, Chopin wasn't a patrol officer with secret criminal informants that he'd hide from his own partner? That sounds horribly corrupt. And you called my comments inflammatory. Corrupt? You got brass, all right. That's real rich coming from a mob lawyer defending the Hound of Icaria. Big uh-oh. Your Honor, the witness's last statement was a regrettable slip of the tongue. Frankly, his entire testimony has been less than ideal, and so I already snipped the jury's feed, but the crowd. Seriously? He's the Hound? But isn't the Hound that... cop killing animals? Knew that the whole house stank like shit. Watch what you say about a man's family, you... Or what, you'll stab us in the back too? Nah, Roger sucks. Sosuke, please calm down. And shut up. Bad apple hang the whole house with him. Your Honor, these outbursts from the gallery are not ideal, but we need to focus on preventing. It's not enough you butchered him like that. Animals. You gotta pay his lawyer to spit on his grave too? At least the Blue Bloods know their place. How dare you, while you pigs were colluding with Blue Bloods to rip off everyone in the lower wards. Better a Blue Blood than the piss running in your veins. Sarah, hold him. Pardon? Stop him from doing anything stupid. Now. Okay, it was fun, but now you've ruined it. You're all done. This court is now in recess. Bailiffs, clear the room. It's not enough. Nah, I'm not done talking. I want to speak. Tell him, Rogers. This heat burned the house. Tension that, like a haze in the air, rip him out by the roots. On the back of my neck. And on the back of my neck. Every last one. I should have taken you out when I had the chance, you bead of sweat. And something that feels like... Die, you son of a bitch. Behind us. Get down. Oh shit, Sosuke. What am I reaching for? I don't even have my gun. Oof. Good job. That was stressful. Hey, are you okay? Are you hit? Sosuke. Sosuke, I am not injured. The danger's gone, the heat of the moment replaced by the chill of cold sweat on my lower back. But why did you push me down? What do you mean, why? Why did I... Take my time turning back at the trace the bullet's trajectory. Vaguely I'm aware of stomping feet as the crowd rushes to the exit, but the sound is far away. Reflexes. Sorry. You all right there, ma'am? I'm fine, Detective. Thank you. For a moment I lock eyes with Detective Quasm, London. That instant, I recognize a nameless, flickering across his face, cold and sharp like frostbitten furs, nameless. We don't need a word for it because we only ever see it once, at the very end. Okay, I've taken 60 seconds to yell into a couch pillow, so maybe now one of you could tell me what the hell happened out there. How did that man get into the courtroom, the building, and with a weapon like whatever the hell that was? It was his own arm, Madame Barrows. Modded illegally at some literal chop shop. Fully prosthetic, but fairly low-tech. It uses a simple air intake system and projectile made of enamel, as in teeth. Where on earth do these people? Doesn't trigger any metal detectors, looks organic from the outside. But if you're aiming at flesh, it gets the job done. And our metal detectors all that stand between a crazed gunman and the law of the hand? No, Your Honor, we're looking into it now. But we already found some discrepancies in the personnel files of our courthouse security team members. He probably got his hands on a keycard, lost, bought, or stolen, and had it modified to get him in the building. Would that work? Only needs to work once. This time, it did. I doubt he expected to leave alive, so... You ask me, we're lucky he stuck with something more directed instead of an explosion. This is a nightmare. What am I supposed to do now? The jury must be horrified. I don't know how we could proceed. As I recall, the adjutant cut their feed the moment Officer Rogers mentioned the Hound of Icaria, so they didn't actually see the shooting. And by the way, how does a patrol officer know that my client is a lead suspect in that case? Would anyone like to explain that to me? Well, you'll have to ask organized crimes, but the mood around Rogers has been celebratory. I'd imagine there are plenty of cops eager to describe him in detail, what he'd achieved by catching Sosuke red-handed. Allegedly. There's no presumption of innocence in station locker rooms and cop bars, counselor. So the OC department buys Rogers a round of drinks, and 24 hours later I've got a shooter in my courtroom. Who was he? The shooter's been ID'd as Bowen Bresson, low-level muscle in the Blue Blood Mafia. Priors for possession, dealing, assault, attempting to carry out an assassination in a courtroom full of cops is quite the setup. Any connection to Creek's pod? Older generation, different part of town. Not exactly thick as thieves. So trying to execute Sosuke wasn't an act of revenge. He was given orders. Yes, that's very interesting, but it's a job for the police to handle. Counselor Morgan, I assume you'll be filing for a mistrial. About that. I feel like it's my client's best interest for the trial to continue. What? A Blue Blood gunman just tried to shoot him, but the jury didn't see that. All they know right now is that they've been given a long lunch. You too. The goal, Your Honor, as I've always understood it, is for the defense attorney to do what's best for their client. Right now, clearly the Blue Blood Mafia is convinced my client killed 4 of their men. And every cop in the city thinks he killed Officer Chopin. If he walks out on a mistrial, he won't be able to walk down the street without getting shanked. Sosuke Icaria doesn't need a mistrial. He needs a media blackout. I really hate that term. She's right, Your Honor. If the story spreads that the Blue Bloods tried to assassinate Sosuke, every juror in the city will assume he's guilty. We won't be able to find anyone over the age of 10 who hasn't heard of him, let alone put together 12 unbiased peers to judge him. Even if that's true, and even if it's possible, what you're asking for is... Detective, is the building still in lockdown? Standard procedure says to keep it that way for another half hour. We would have to. The stands were full of police officers, and any one of them could. Ambulance chasers will pay the prime for a story this rich. Someone's gonna break rank. We don't need the blackout to last forever. We just need it to be intimidating enough that the story doesn't leak until the trial's over. Which will be when exactly? We could finish tomorrow. There aren't that many witnesses left on the docket. Finished. Tomorrow. Yes, Your Honor. Ugh. Fine, fine. Yes, we'll have a blackout. A big scary old blackout, like we're the shadowy masters of the universe. Happy? Perfectly. Thank you, Your Honor. Detective, follow me. You'll need my authorization to activate the building's blanket protocols. Right behind you, ma'am. Surprised to be arguing for the same thing as you for once. Thanks for not gagging from the effort. Any other defense attorney in the city would have taken the mistrial. Dumped the Hound of Icaria on some other idiot's doorstep and cashed their check. Some other idiot, huh? Or is it that you can't dump him? You under house arrest already. I haven't felt threatened by them. That could change fast if you fail them. House Icaria are high society, haven't you heard? And I'm beneath their notice. I don't think they'd bother to axe me just for underperforming. Sounds like exactly the kind of thing that high society types would do. Going this far for your client, though. You know me. Defender of the weak, champion of the downtrodden. I'd go through a lot more than this to keep my face out of the papers. Hopefully, when the story does eventually leak, the focus should be entirely on Sosuke. But if this means people start recognizing me, remembering me, Owen Bresson will be glad London did him in one. I'd twist the knife slow as a second hand if he's... You okay? Compared to you, I guess not. I've never seen anyone get shot before. Oh. Right. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. That was... Maybe I'm feeling jealous. I spent all this time poring over crime scenes and diagrams, trying to get inside the head of heartbreak of all people, and maybe I get it into my head that I'm some kind of unfeeling badass. Just to freeze up like a deer at the sight of actual violence. I'll need to get over that. Do you? Do you need to get over it? I have a responsibility. A prosecutor isn't a hangman, Emma. No. If a hangman does their job right, the neck snaps and the subject's dead before the pain ever reaches their brain. If I do my job right, Sosuke Icaria spends the rest of his life drooling on himself while Megs haggle over the property rights to his gray manor. If you feel that bad about it, you could always recommend a lesser sentence. That's just the thing. I've never felt that bad about it at all. Emma runs in the family. The way she whispered it, in that half-stuttering sigh, I'm not sure she even heard it herself. Jeez. That was a high-intensity trial. Floor 48. All right. I think this is a great place to stop, because that was intense. So you know what? We'll stop it there. I think we earned that. And I guess that's the end of Trial 1 of Episode 2. Looks like we're going to have to do more investigating. And we're going to need to talk to more people. Especially the Blue Bloods. I know they're hiding something. I mean, we met one of their gang in the previous parts, and I don't feel safe with them. I'm pretty sure they're lying about many, many things that could change kind of the outcome of whatever this trial is, so we'll check that out next time. Thanks for watching Of the Devil, and I'll see you after this. Bye.